शिव तत्व, author Yugtulsi Padma Bhushan Param Pujya Dr. Shri Ramkinkarji Maharaj. Chapter 10, The Problems of the Seeker and Their Solutions. Vibhishan is the center of Ramcharitmanas. It means Goswamiji through Vibhishan throws light on those problems which come in the life of every seeker. Jiv is part of God, and being a part of God, it is natural to get attracted towards the Lord. Goswamiji says in Uttarkand, Ishwar ans Jeev avinasi, Chetan amal sahaj sukh rasi. Hence, the situation of Vibhishan's life is that Vibhishan himself is attracted to God's devotion from the starting itself. It has been shown thus, and in that same context, Goswamiji tells a very remarkable thing, that Ravan and Kumbhakarna are born from one mother and Vibhishan is born from the other mother. They have brotherhood, and this very brotherhood is the biggest problem of Vibhishan's life. This is true that Vibhishan, Kumbhakarna and Ravan in the beginning do the same kind of practice. It is not that for seeking God some unique kind of effort has to be done. If it was such, then it could be said that it is hard to please God to attain God, and it is easier to attain the world. That is why we try to attain the world. No, it has been told in Ramcharitmanas that the amount of practice a worldly man does, actually by that amount of practice God can be attained. We talk about Lakshmanji's sacrifice, detachment, love, service, etc. But when this question came before Goswamiji, that with whom should we compare Lakshmanji's love for Shri Ram, then Goswamiji writes a sentence there, Se vahi Lakhno siye Raghubirahin, Jimi abhibeki Purush Sarirahin. Like an ignorant man serves the body, in the same manner Lakshmanji serves Shri Ram. It means our service is no lesser than his. The only difference is that we have centered that entire service in the body, and Lakshmanji has centered it in Shri Ram. If we ponder, then it will be clearly visible that how much love we have towards this body, which such attachment, how much attention is there towards it constantly, so much effort is there to keep it happy, and even after all, this feeling did not come in our conscience that we are doing any special work by looking after the body. This work seems to be done so easily on its own. The same indication is received here. The penance of Ravan, Kumbhakarna and Vibhishan is the same. Seeking is the same, and the one giving the fruit of this practice is also the same. Brahma and Shankar, who come before Ravan to grant the boon, the same ones come before Kumbhakarna, and the same ones also come before Vibhishan too. But the difference lied in the result. Shri Goswami Tulsidas Ji was asked, if the human body is compared to a tree, then with which tree you would like to compare? You would like with mango or acacia, that is babool, or with banana? Goswamiji said that the body of a man be compared to only one tree. Teri kumati kaya kalpavalli. The body of the man is kalpataru, wish granting tree. What does that mean? The constraint of mango tree is that in it only mangoes will grow. The constraint of bubble is that only thorns will grow into it. But the practice that a man gets by his body, whether its results will be in the form of sweetness or in the form of thorns, Goswami Ji says, just compare with Kalptaru. And the significance of Kalptaru is that whatever a person imagines sitting underneath it, the Kalptaru turns that imagination into reality. It means that there is freedom for a person whether he gets thorns in his life or flowers or fruits of any other kind. This is seen clearly that the one from whom Ravan asks for boon is Lord Shankar. And what is the significance of granting a boon by Lord Shankar? Lord Shankar has been specified as the ego of the total consciousness. Goswami Ji, while describing the Virat, says that like there is mind, intellect, chitta or memory, and ego in a man, similarly in the whole there is this quadruple. The ego of the Virat Bhagwan is Shiv. The name of intelligence of Virat is Brahma, and the name of Chitta is Vishnu, and the mind of Virat is the moon. The intensified form of the ego of the total is Shiv. What does this mean then? The effort that will be made by the individual ego and the penance that will be performed by individual ego, its result will be given by the whole, because everyone is joined to the whole. Like we get some result by every action, in that it is seen evidently that the farmer is plowing the field using the plow, sowing the seeds, making various kinds of efforts. Despite all these, in realizing the results of the farmer, the assistance of the nature is necessary. If there are heavy rains, no rains at all, or the hailstorm is there, then the labor of the farmer can go in vain. It means that every person, for the result of his action, whether you may call it attainment from the viewpoint of practice, call it the consciousness of the whole, call it the ego of the person, depends on the whole. The action that will be done by the person's ego, to give its result, the deity of the ego will come. Hence, sometimes it appears to be very weird thing. Lord Shankar gives boons to the demons as well as the deities. People cannot understand what does it mean. They say that it is okay that they grant boons to the deities. He should say no to the demons. No, how can he deny? It is a law, and he too has to go by the law. Hence, the penance that will be done by a person in individual consciousness, the ego of the total, is bound to give its result. Hence, he will certainly give even if it is bad or even if it is good. It does not mean anything. Therefore, Lord Shankar comes before the three brothers to grant boons, but when Lord Shankar is about to leave for granting boons, then Brahmaji says, it will be good if I go with Shankarji, because the demons mostly try to deceive him. Now, when the deity of the ego of the whole was said to go to grant boons, then he goes with the deity of the intelligence of the total, Brahma, and goes before all the three who are sitting with some gap and were doing the exact same penance. Firstly, he went to Ravan. Goswami Ji indicates this. Ravan is inspired by Rajoguni tendency. Kumbkaran is of Tamoguni tendency and Vibhishan is of Sattva-guni tendency. These three are there and they go before all the three. All the three have different mental tendencies and they ask for boons as per their mental tendencies. How much importance they give to something in their minds. Where does the Rajoguni place his importance most? When they go before Ravan and ask Ravan, "What do you want?" Then Ravan immediately says, "Hum kahu ke marahi na mare." I should not die if someone tries to kill me. He could have said that I should become immortal. He says I should not die at someone's hands, as if there is preparation going on beforehand to kill others. I should be able to kill others, but others should not be able to kill me. The motive is that I should be able to attack others, but the blow of others should not affect me. This is the psychology, but ego is ego. It feels that asking for a boon, that I should not die if someone tries to kill me, is accepting oneself as very lowly. It means that I am not so inferior that I am scared of anyone. Hence he differentiated immediately. Hum kahu ke marahi na mare, वानर मनुज जाति दुई वारे, meaning that except monkeys and humans I should not die at anyone else's hands. I can destroy them myself. And Ravan thinks that nar kapi bhalu ahar hamara, monkeys, bears and humans are our food. Food is health enhancing. Why to worry about that? Ravan does not know that food itself becomes the cause of death. Food is tasty too, and in the end man dies of indigestion too. But he assumes food to be health enhancer and asks for the boon that I should not die at anyone else's hands except monkeys and humans. The Rajoguni expressed his desire. Now when Shankarji came back, Parvatiji asked, "What boon did Ravan ask for?" Shankarji said that Ravan asked for the boon of death itself. Lord, does one has to ask for death as a boon? It is inevitable. Why to do penance for it? Shankarji said, this is the very misfortune that some people do penance for that which is already inevitable. Ravan opened doors for his death by asking for such a boon. When Ravan said except monkeys and humans, then it was not certain at whose hands he would die. Now, as if Ravan himself fixed the limits, the boon itself became the curse. In Mahabharata too, this indication is there. Gandhari tried to make Duryodhan immortal. A chaste woman she was. She tried to make Adharma immortal. The chaste woman said, the one who destroys the chastity of others tries to disrobe Draupadi in the full house assembly. Who actually behaves against Dharma, I will make him immortal. For that she gives the assurance, you must come before me naked for once. When I will look at you, your body will become indestructible like Vajra. You will become immortal. When this news reached Yudhishthir's army, panic struck there. Everyone shuddered. Lord Krishna was given this news that, Lord, now the chaste Gandhari, who has not seen the world till date, she will remove the blindfold and look at Duryodhan. He will become immortal. What will happen now? Lord Shri Krishna started smiling. He said, "Impossible. Duryodhan does not know how to be naked and Gandhari does not know how to remove the blindfold." People could not understand the puzzle. Is it any hard to get naked? Lord Krishna said, Duryodhan knows how to disrobe others. He doesn't know how to get naked himself. To disrobe the other means to expose the shortcoming, the drawback of the other, and to get naked means introspection, to look at one's own self. Duryodhan has the tendency to undress the other, does not know how to undress himself. Shri Krishna also said that if Gandhari had learnt to open the blindfold, then this disaster would not even have taken place at all. If she had not tied the strip of attachment on her eyes, like she says today to her sons, that I will make you immortal by granting boon. Instead of that, if she had said to Duryodhan that if you will do this unrighteous act, then I will open my eyes and burn you, then maybe this unfortunate outcome would have stopped. Her ill fate is that she cannot remove the fold of attachment from her eyes. People could not believe, but that antique did happen. Duryodhan did walk naked, but in what manner did he walk naked? No one should see him. This is a sarcasm. Disrobe Draupadi in the full house assembly and gets himself undressed in isolation, that too for his selfishness. Only I should see my nakedness, no one else should see it. Just like those people who say before the Lord, I am very sinful, but if someone else says that you are very sinful, then we will be ready to break his head with a stick. I say before the Lord, get naked, but who are you to say that? Duryodhan goes like this to Gandhari's place so that no one sees him. He walks naked, taking the clothes off. But who can stop Narad? It was Lord's wish only that he appeared in the way. Duryodhan was shocked to see him. He sat there only. Duryodhan tried to hide the nakedness, seeing the saint. But there was no cloth. Naradji asked, Hey, where are you going? He said, Maharaj, to obey mother's order. He said, Great, you are a mother devotee. Whatever you do, it is only with the orders of your mother. What are you doing? Just think, when you got nervous seeing me, then would you not feel hesitation going in front of your mother? Think at least a little about some decency. And he wrapped a small cloth around his waist. Naradji also approved of it. He went before Gandhari, having wrapped the cloth, and said, Open your blindfold. Gandhari asked, Son, have you come? Yes, I have come. She opened the blindfold, and what was the result of opening it? The whole body became hard like vajra, but there was a strip on the waist, hence it was left weak. When Lord Krishna got this news, he started laughing and said, See, Gandhari herself told the way to kill Duryodhan while trying to make him immortal. Everyone would have to find out where to hit. Now everyone got to know that hit there only. He will die by that only. She went on to make immortal, but actually opened the door to death herself. Where there is attachment, ignorance. The tendency of man is this only, in an attempt to be immortal, becoming the morsel of death. The Rajoguni does not know this truth, that the whole effort is actually to destroy one's own self. Though he believes that he is trying to make himself immortal, make himself great, what was the result? Ravan, in this illusion of immortality, asked for the boon of death, and he is so satisfied, happy, that I have become immortal. Monkeys and humans cannot kill me, and I will defeat the deities through the boon for sure. Lord Shankar and Brahmaji now went near Kumbhakaran. Even Brahmaji felt great anxiety seeing Kumbhakaran, because among the three brothers he was the one with a gigantic body. Seeing him, Brahmaji thought, "जो दिन प्रति आहार कर सोई, विश्व बेगी सब चौपट होई." If this one who eats too much, who is a big eater, keeps eating day and night, then it will be very unfortunate, and if he keeps on being awake, then everything would be ruined. Goswamiji says in Vinay Patrika that ego itself is Kumbhakaran, who is seen as a being, who is the tallest and the widest in the world. It is ego. We can measure the body of a person and tell it in inches and feet, but if it is asked to measure the ego of a person, then it cannot be measured. Mind does not feel fulfilled even if there are lakhs of rupees or crores of rupees. It is not the hunger of the stomach which can be satiated. It is merely the desire that I should collect the entire money of the world and keep it. It means that the ego of the man is so mighty that it does not know how to be satisfied. Even after hoarding everything of the world, the situation of Kumbhakaran is the same. Brahmaji thought that it has to be changed a little at least. It means that the tendency of ego is Rajoguni. Hence, what does Brahmaji do for this? He brings him downwards, displacing him. The tendency of ego is assisting or binding for the world. Think over it a little. If the person does not have ego, then he would not engage in action. But ego, which is a tendency of Rajogun, is lethal too. Because all the Rajoguni egoists, after fighting with each other, want to eat themselves. They just want to get satisfied themselves. What is the result? Brahmaji induces those Rajoguni people who just want to satisfy their ego by destroying the world. Kumbhakaran wanted to ask for the boon to be awake for 6 months and sleep for 1 day. But Brahmaji शारद प्रेरी तासु मति फेरी मांगेसी नींद मास शट केरी. Maharaj, I should sleep for 6 months and be awake for 1 day. Brahma said, this is good for the benefit of the world, that tamasic people should be awake less frequently. If they wake up, then they will try to eat others. He granted, you will be awake for a single day in 6 months, and if you wake up in the middle, you will be certainly killed. It is said that it is better if the ego awakens at the right time, but some people keep waking it up at odd times. The ego is awake at all times. Brahmaji instructed, you will be safe if you will sleep and wake up as per the regulations. If you violate the regulations, you will be killed. Eventually, Ravan got him killed by waking him up off time, and in this manner, Tamogun killed itself by waking up. Kumbhakaran becomes happy, asking for boon of Tamogun, boon for sleep. What was the outcome? After doing penance for lakhs of years, asked for the boon to sleep for 6 months, waking, then sleeping again. People observe control and go to the doctor to take medicine so that they can indulge even more than what they controlled. Eat again what they could not eat. What does it mean to destroy the disease by restraint and then again ask for that disease through a boon by indulging? This is a unique symptom of the tendency of Tamoguni. Kumbhakaran too asks for it. Now they both go to Vibhishan. When Brahma and Shankar asked Vibhishan, "Son, what do you want?" गए विभीषण पास पुनि कहु पुत्र बर मांगु तेहि मांगेहु भगवंत पद कमल अमल अनुरागु. So he said, "Please give me pure love in the feet of the Lord." ईश्वर अंश जीव अविनाशी चेतन अमल सहज सुख राशि. He desired for the feet of the Lord, pled for godliness, which is according to his nature, is as per Sattva gun. The result is that through one exactly same action, exactly same penance, the three got three types of disposition in the end, and after getting the disposition, Ravan uses his Rajoguni powers. Through his power that he earned, through his boon, his penance, his capability, he wins over the whole world, and after his victory he looks for which would be the suitable place for him to live, and then he sees a remarkable golden fort. Seeing that golden fort, he felt that it is apt for him to live. Goswamiji compares golden fort of Lanka to indulgence. Seeing this golden fort of Lanka of indulgence, Ravan decides that this particular indulgence fort is suitable to live. Indulgence is of golden form. It has great attraction, is very beautiful. Hence, it is natural to have greed for it. After seeing it, who lived there at that time? The Yaksha soldiers of Kuber guard that place. When Ravan reached there with his army, देखी बिकट भट बड़ी कटकाई जच्छ जीव लय गए पराई. There was not even any need to fight. They ran for their lives. Yaksh is the deity of wealth. The rich people do not like to fight. They just flee in fear. They thought, what is the use of fighting? If they protect their lives, gold can be accumulated again. Let Ravan reign. What was the result? Ravan has the reins of fort of Lanka and he starts to rule. But for whom it is most difficult situation? Kumbhakaran is ruled by Ravan, is Ravan's younger brother, and his nature is not an obstruction in Ravan's nature because he sleeps for 6 months. Hence there is no hindrance in Ravan's indulgence. He is awake just for one day, and Ravan collects everything he desires and satisfies him. He needs food, and Ravan makes arrangement that he should be given whatever things he wants and in the desired quantity. When he wakes up after 6 months, what is the outcome? Rajogun is being satisfied by Tamogun, and naturally engrossed in the state of laziness, he is sleeping. passing away his life in the state of intoxication. The problem is before Vibhishan. The difficulty is before the Jeev. The soul with Sattva Guni tendency is in great distress. On one hand, he is the devotee of the Lord. He already has asked for the boon of devotion of the Lord, and on the other hand, he has to live in Lanka where the entire environment is against his tendencies. Then he makes a compromise, and this same treaty is running in every man's life, whether we see towards Vibhishan's character or towards our own selves. We strike a deal with ourselves. In Lanka, his pact is with Ravan, Kumbhakarna with ill tendencies, with vices. Vibhishan's problem is the same as is the problem of a seeker, meaning that through his intellect he does understand that devotion should be there in the Lord's feet, but on the other hand, a puzzled dharma is sitting in his intellect, which is related to the mind. What is this confused dharma? He perceives that Ravan is my elder brother. Elder brother is equal to father. Kumbhakarna too is my elder brother. It is my duty to accept him equal to my father, to respect him and not revolt against him. In this manner, two dharmas were formed. One dharma is devotion towards the Lord, and the second dharma is devotion towards Ravan and Kumbhakarna. How can devotion of Lord and Ravan go together? The deal is cracked. Ravan said to Vibhishan, "You want to be engaged in Lord's devotion? A beautiful temple will be made for you. You can do worship there." Vibhishan became very happy in his heart. No worries. Ravan got a beautiful temple made for me, gave the facility to worship. What can be a greater thing than this? At this very point, the problem of the seeker gets complicated. It gets complicated because after receiving the good behavior of Ravan, which was just to show off, remorse should have arisen in Vibhishan's mind, because the evil can only be renounced when seeing the evil, dislike towards it is generated. When there is disgust for evil, we cannot keep our life right accepting the evil, and when even in evil deceit is visible, then anger follows, and if it is apparent that anger is a great disgusting thing, is renounceable, then there is possibility of shunning anger. The person who finds 10 qualities even in anger, how can he leave anger? A vice is only given up when there is not a single virtue visible in the vice. When a virtue is visible even in a vice, then there will be no desire to leave it. Vibhishan's problem is the same. He spotted a virtue even in the evil. Which virtue did he find? Even if Ravan commits sins in the world, but he got a temple made for me. He gave me the facility to worship. He does not stop me that you do not do devotion. He does not ask me to be a participant in his sins. Moreover, I am his younger brother. It is my duty too, when Ravan is so tolerant towards me, that I should also become tolerant towards Ravan. This existence of evil and goodness that is there, the tolerance towards evil, is the root of misfortune. Naradji also thought this. He felt proud that the difference between me and Shankarji is that Shankarji got angry on calm and I forgave calm. Shankarji is full of anger and I am devoid of anger. The Lord smiled on this and everyone saw that even Narad got angry. And whom did this anger target? Anger came on Lord Ram. The one who is not angry on calm is angry on Ram only. The one who becomes tolerant towards evil, his intolerance will express itself somewhere in the end. This is Shankarji's intelligence that if anger has to be essentially expressed, then why not be angry on calm? If there has to be intolerance towards anything, it should be towards evil. But it is our nature to see goodness in evil. The problem in the beginning of Vibhishan's life is this only. Now the question arises that why does Ravan give him the facility to worship? He has the experience of the previous birth. Ravan was Hiranyakashipu in the previous birth. That time he had stopped his son Prahlad to take the Lord's name. In the next birth, he was so experienced that he gave his brother the facility to worship. Why did he do this at all? In the first birth, when he stopped Prahlad, then he attained Lord at the age of 5 years only. And in the next birth, he has given Vibhishan the facility to worship. So now it may take him hundreds of years to attain God. Sometimes, due to inconvenience, efforts become intensified, and due to convenience, man becomes sure, like how it happened in the lives of Prahlad and Vibhishan. Hiranyakashipu asked Prahlad not to take God's name. Prahlad perceives it as no, he is an obstruction in my way. He stops me from moving towards the Lord. Here, when Ravan tells Vibhishan, do the worship, then he thinks that Ravan is our supporter. But here a very important thing to be considered, that with whose inspiration the practice is being done. Sometimes there is adversity in the seeking practice, and when it is said that despite practice being done since a long period of time, the goal of the practice is not being achieved, then see in your conscience with whose inspiration practice is observed, with Ravan's inspiration or with inspiration of knowledge. And if you are seated in the you are seated in the conscience, it will be clearly visible that if Ravan is becoming an aid in the practice, then what can be his motive? It is exactly like this thing. It is said that a seeker used to wake up daily at 4 in the morning and do his prayers, and one day there was a possibility of not waking up at 4 in the morning because the sleep was deep. Suddenly someone came and woke him up, and that person sat up, and after he had completed the worship, he thanked the one who woke up, saying, "Today I was in deep sleep. Maybe I would not have woken up. So you have done a great favor. Truly, you are some saint. who woke up a sleeping man. I am obliged for your favor." On this the person said, "Should I give you my real introduction?" The seeker said, "Yes, Maharaj, please give your real introduction." He said, "I am evil." The seeker said, "This is the language of saints. They call themselves bad." "No, no. Will evil ever awaken for prayer? Evil will further put to deeper sleep. Now it has been proved that you are not evil, but some realized being." On this the evil said, "No, no, I am really evil, and I woke you up knowingly." The seeker asked, "Why did you do this?" The evil said, "The thing is that once you woke up at 5 in place of 4 in the morning, and I saw on that day you wept bitterly in the prayer. You felt guilty that, 'Oh Lord, I cannot even do your prayers on time.' The result was that you reached too close to the Lord. That is why I was afraid that if today too you stayed asleep and then remorse and guilt took over you, then you will surely meet God. That is why I thought, let me help you follow the norm so that you stay far from God at least. If you follow the rule, then you will be far from Him. You will be proud that I get up in the morning and complete my prayer with discipline, and I will be satisfied that you could not attain God." The evil wants that the seeker should remain indulged in practice in the form of mere actions and give up sentiments and prudence. Hence, when the worship is in the form of mere action, sentiments and prudence will not be there with it, then its result will be that the action will be fruitless in this way. Goswamiji says that in practice and in the worship of God, thinking and wisdom are needed. Worship is being done with Ravan's mercy, and Vibhishan ji is satisfied and happy that the practice is going on smoothly. But please see how thoughtless practice is going on. Committing atrocities continuously, Ravan reaches to the extent that he stole and brought Shri Sita ji, the one who Vibhishan worships, whom he adores, whom he meditates upon, and whom he prays. Ravan steals that personified devotion itself. Though Vibhishan revolts, still he has this satisfaction that his devotion is still meaningful. His worship is fruitful. It seems that when the being is delusioned, then his condition is such that devotion towards the Lord as well as devotion towards Ravan too, citing attributes in Ravan too and citing in attributes in God as well. Till the time the condition of the seeker is thus, his life will be divided in two parts. In one part, he does worship, prayer and practice. In the second part, he becomes an aid in Ravan's evil. He keeps on witnessing evil thoughts turning into action and becomes satisfied that at least in his own life the days are being spent well. Though sometimes there is a slip, but then there is no objection in it. Now the question arises that this duel which keeps going on, when will it end? Goswamiji gives an indication of its answer through satsang, sant and sadguru's medium. A person realizes his basic mistake for the first time. Vibhishan ji realizes his mistake when Shri Sita ji is captive in Lanka and Vibhishan ji did not see her even once. How big a surprise this is! The one whom Vibhishanji worships, she is physically present as captive in Lanka, and Vibhishanji knows where she is because he told Hanumanji where she was, but he did not go himself even for once. What could be a stranger thing than this? Targeting this only, Goswami ji has said, एक ही एक सिखावत जपत न आप, तुलसी राम प्रेम कर बाटत पाप. You tell the other that jap must be done, but you don't do it yourself. This is the very tendency of Vibhishan. He knows where Sita ji is, where devotion is, even after knowing that the goddess of devotion herself is present in Lanka, and also knowing the way to reach there, there is lack of desire or hesitation, fear, whatever you may call it, is present in him. And then a time comes when the Lord sees that the one who is observing practice since such a long time as an action, doing devotion, but wisdom has not awakened in him, emotion has not awakened. He in fact is sleeping. His practice is going on in dreams. His practice is not in reality. And then with God's grace, Saint Sadguru arrives. Hanumanji comes, and after searching the entire Lanka, comes at the door of Vibhishan in the end. In the description of this episode, Goswamiji has used very beautiful language. Hanumanji standing at the door, and te hi samay Vibhishanu jaga. He woke up from the sleep. Kumbhakaran was sleeping till now, that everyone knows, but Vibhishan was also sleeping. Very few people know this. It means that if the Tamoguni sleeps, it is visible, but even the seeker sleeps, it is not really visible to people. Those who are awake can also appear as sleeping. Remember that the sleep of Kumbhakaran is evident, but there is sleep of sadhak too. He is sleeping despite being awake. Goswami ji expressed two philosophies here: sleeping while awake and waking up while asleep. Goswami ji describes the devotee, Raghupati Bhagati Karat Kathnai. But there the devotee is such an indulgent who sleeps renouncing sleep. Sovai Nidra May Bhogi. Sadhak who is seen involved in the conflicts of the world is sleeping, but when Saint Sadguru come, they wake him up, and after waking up, they both meet, and there is satsang after meeting. When Lord Ram's attributes were recited in satsang, there was guilt and remorse in the heart of the seeker that I did not go to the Lord since so long. Seeker's remorse keeps on increasing with the delay in reaching God. God will complain. He will ask, where had you been till now? Where did you waste so much time? But this fear of the seeker is baseless, because this fear is not at God's place, that He will reproach. His door is open. Whoever comes, He accepts him. But the being is inflicted with his own problems. When Vibhishanji asks, will God show mercy upon me? Then Hanumanji consoles him by saying that, look at me. कहूँ कवन मैं परम कुलीना, कपि चंचल सबहि विधिहीना. The example of monkey is very meaningful. Hanumanji crossed the ocean. It surprises greatly. What is its implication? Normally, Normally the jumps that the monkeys take, if you add them together, then it will not be less than 400 kos. The difference between Hanumanji's jump and other monkeys is that the latter are wasting their jumps by taking many small jumps. If that leap is taken in one go, then the darshan of Sita ji is possible. Crossing the ocean. It means that a worldly man is taking small jumps, but they are useless. His prancing is meaningless, and there only if the leap of the mind becomes giant, it would reach the feet of the Lord. Hanumanji said, "Our Lord can show grace even on a monkey." Our two gods are very famous. Lord Krishna, who is the grazier of cows, and Lord Ram, he is the grazier of monkeys. They are attached both to the cow and monkey. For cow or guy, there are two more words, gau and go. For the senses too, in Sanskrit it is said, go gochar jah lagi man jai. What does it mean? Senses are outwardly, and when Shri Krishna himself starts grazing, then he starts playing his flute. At that time, if the cows are with him or the senses are in his service, then the form is seen. Sound is also being heard, and they do not get lost. But when these cows or senses leave Shri Krishna's company, then it comes in Srimad Bhagavat that the jungle caught fire and the cows were trapped in it. It means that where the senses leave the company of the Lord and enter the forest of mere pleasures, there is probability of burning in the forest fire. Goswamiji did some partiality. When someone grazes the cow, something will be attained. But if he grazes a monkey, what will he get? Grazing the cow will give milk, ghee, but it is useless to graze the monkey. The mind of the being is very flickering. The monkey never stays still. He keeps on running from here to there and from there to here. Similarly, the mind of the being is unstable. But if this mind gets occupied in the service of the Lord, then the Lord utilizes even that restlessness of the mind, and through the leap of instability grants him encounter with the truth, gives his darshan to the devotee. Hanumanji said to Vibhishan, "If the Lord's grace is on a monkey, then will it not be on you?" Why do you think like that? There was an awakening in the conscience of the being. A message of hope awoke, and after that he took a determination that I will go in the shelter of the Lord. Hanumanji saw that now the determination has reached the right state. Hence he asked Vibhishan, "Where is Shri Sita ji?" तब हनुमंत कहा, "सुनु भ्राता, देखी चहूँ जानकी माता." Why did Hanumanji use the word brother here? Because Vibhishan ji was sitting deep in thought that Ravan is my brother. Hanumanji said, "Brother, you have to decide now that who is your real brother. If you accept Ravan as your brother, then you would walk on some other path. And if you accept me as your brother, then you will walk on another path. choose whether the brother related to body is the real brother or the brother of emotion. You will become Ravan's disciple if you accept physically related brother as your brother, and if you accept me as your brother from the aspect of emotion. We both are the devotees of Ram. We are brothers with this relation. We both are the sons of Shri Kishori ji. We are brothers as per this relation. Hence, a brother should support his brother. Vibhishan decided that a brother has to support his brother, and he revealed the whereabouts of Sita ji. The story following this is long. When Hanumanji is brought in the assembly room of Ravan as a captive, then Vibhishan ji also reaches there. Sometimes in the life of the seeker, the problem starts getting even more tangled in the process of untangling. Just like a child is sleeping in the morning, and if he is woken up, then it is seen the child sits up at that time, but he again starts sleeping as soon as the one who woke him up has left. Similarly, Vibhishan ji started feeling sleepy again, and this sleep came over when he saw Hanumanji sitting in the assembly room of Ravan. At that time, he felt as if my brother Ravan is very powerful. He has held Hanumanji as captive. When Hanumanji himself is bound, then how would he give the message of freedom to the other? He started doubting a little. Here, Goswami ji has indicated that Ravan is angry and orders, "Kill him." When the soldiers took out their swords and moved forth to kill Hanumanji, Vibhishan noticed that Hanumanji is not making any effort at all to save himself. Now he was worried. He thought that at least he has given a beautiful sermon about devotion, hence he should be saved. Thinking thus, he said, "Niti virodh na mariye duta." It is against the policy. Ravan immediately accepted what he said. He said, "It is all right. The younger brother is very knowledgeable, prudent, knower of policy. If it is his advice, I take back the death sentence." Now Vibhishan became very glad that it is great. King Ravan loves me so much. Because of this, love for God started getting distant, and brother's love was in view again. When Hanumanji looked towards Vibhishan, he understood that he is feeling sleepy again. It is a big problem. He is again seeing qualities in Ravan. At this moment, Ravan said that death sentence will be taken back, but punishment will be given certainly. And determining the punishment, he said, "कपि के ममता पूछ पर सबहि कहूँ समुझाई, तेल बोरी पट बनहि पुनि पावक देहु लगाई." Put bandhi puni pavak dehu lagai. Wrap the cloth around monkey's tail, pour ghee and oil on it and set it on fire. When the tail will burn, then he will bring his master about whom he brags. Then it will be clear how much speciality is in him. When the cloth was being wrapped over Hanumanji's tail, ghee and oil was being poured, he started a game. He started elongating his tail as the cloth is wrapped and oil is poured. The tail keeps on elongating. People are wondering what is happening. But there is no effect of this on Ravan. He thinks there are many great miracles. Maybe this monkey's tail too has some magic. Whatever it is, it does not matter. No one can take away victory from me. But what is the message of Goswamiji? When Ravan said that put the tail to fire, then the demons were surprised that why is he asking to burn the tail? Why does not he say cut the nose, cut the ears? At least Supnakha would have been avenged. On this, Ravan said, this is not the issue. Like a man's attachment is with the nose, similarly, monkey's attachment is with the tail. Hence, burn his tail only. Attacking on attachment causes grief. If he has to be given misery, then attack on his attachment. Now see what Hanumanji did there. He elongated his tail, which was small, and later made it small again. Hanumanji seemingly answered Ravan that the one who knows both expanding and contracting attachment does not suffer because of attachment, but the one who knows only expanding the attachment, he only suffers from it. Your attachment is spread over 400 course. It will burn. Our attachment is already contracted. No matter how much I expand it or contract it, it is not going to burn. In the end, when it was set on fire, Hanumanji thought that whole Lanka does not need to be set on fire. He did not burn whole Lanka. He only set the houses of Lanka on fire, but set Vibhishan's compound on fire. It appears that the fire did not burn in Vibhishan's place, but in fact there was the house of Vibhishan. What did Hanumanji do with it? जारा नगर निमिख एक माही एक विभीषण कर ग्रह नाही. Whole Lanka was burned, only Vibhishan's house did not burn down. If we derive its meaning from the viewpoint of thought reflecting, then it is Nainam Chindanti Shastrani Nainam Dahati Pavaka. Vibhishan is the being, and Vibhishan alone is alive in Lanka, in this Lanka. And if we derive its meaning from an emotional viewpoint, then he has Lord's devotion in him, hence he is safe. And what Goswamiji very skillfully wants to tell the seeker, if we think from that viewpoint, then Hanumanji decided that unless Vibhishanji has conflict with Ravan until the vice is disjointed, till that time he will not go in God's shelter. Then what is the way out? He thought to leave his house. Here Hanumanji observed cleverness from the viewpoint of diplomacy. Ravan alone had given the order of setting Hanumanji's tail on fire. Hence, if Hanumanji had set whole Lanka on fire, then it would have been adharma only. That is why Hanumanji had elongated his tail. I will put fire to each one's house from where ghee, oil and cloth will be supplied. When everyone from Lanka brought ghee, oil and cloth from their houses, then there was no guilt in setting their houses on fire. Everyone tried to burn, hence their Lanka will be burned. And when Vibhishan's house was left from burning, then from that day only Ravan's affectionate eye, which was on Vibhishan, changed. Ravan thought, I committed a great blunder. If I had got the monkey killed, How could Lanka be burned? Hence, all the disaster occurred because of Vibhishan, and it seems they both are in collusion. Because when I gave him death sentence, then he stopped, and when he burned the city, he left only Vibhishan's house. Now Ravan lost faith in Vibhishan. When the seeker has conflict with the evil, the agreement with vices is no more there, then only there is intense desire of surrender in the mind of the seeker. At that time, Ravan suppressed his anger immediately, which encouraged Vibhishan even more, and he started thinking to make Ravan a devotee too. He himself could not become a devotee completely, and this worry of making Ravan a devotee too started. This is the only problem when the seeker wants to make someone delusion free before time. He could not be free of delusion himself and went on to free Ravan of lust. He started to persuade him, please give Shri Sita ji back to Lord Ram, your welfare will be assured. Ravan started recalling the past advice. He said, I accepted your advice and Lanka was burnt. Now, are you bent upon destroying me completely? He got so much furious on this that he kicked Vibhishan hard with his foot and said, Mampur basi tapsin par preeti, sat mili jaऊं tinnahi kahun neeti. You stay in my city and love the enemies? Go, go. What is its meaning? There is this life whose rule should be over it, Ravan's or Vibhishan's. Goswamiji says Ravan is personified delusion and Vibhishan is personified Jiv. Here there is the question of two rulers. Who is the elder brother, delusion or Jiv? That is being. Goswamiji says that in life, delusion has placed himself as the elder brother. But the truth is that in life, delusion is not the elder brother. In fact, the elder one is the Jiv only. But his rule on life has not been possible because विषय करण सुर जीव समेता सकल एक ते एक सचेता सब कर परम प्रकाशक जोई राम अनादि अवधपति सोई. Vibhishan in fact is elder to Ravan as Jiv, but from the apparent view of society, from the outward viewpoint, Ravan seems to be the elder one. In the end, after bearing Ravan's blow, true guilt and true remorse arises in the heart of Vibhishanji. He thinks that I tried to change Ravan but could not change myself. Then he truly remembers the attributes of the Lord. Though the true remembrance of God's virtues came to him earlier too, but at that time he also saw the virtue of Ravan. And now Vibhishan declares in the full assembly of Ravan, राम सत्य संकल्प प्रभु सभा काल बस तोरी, मैं रघुबीर शरण अब जाऊं देहु जनि खोरी. Ram Satya Sankalp, which is mentioned here, also has a mystery in it. When is Jeev's determination fulfilled? Till the time Jeev wishes to fulfill his determination through the power of his own resolution, it will remain unfulfilled. But when he merges his determination with the Satya Sankalp Lord, then his resolution will be fulfilled. If Vibhishan says that I will kill Ravan, that how can he kill him as a helpless being. But Vibhishan says to Ravan that Lord Ram has decided to kill you. God is Satya Sankalp, so my resolution is included in his determination, hence your destruction is inevitable. Now, what is the result? Jeev renounces evil thoughts, breaks relation with Ravan, and only then he reaches in God's shelter. It means that the obstruction was destroyed. The hurdle of Lanka, which he had The hurdle of Lanka was over. The seeker has to cross another hurdle after crossing the hurdle of misdeed, and that hurdle is the hurdle of virtuous deeds. The hurdle of virtues too came in the life of Vibhishan for few moments. Because when he reached the Lord, then the Lord was surrounded by monkeys. The demons represent vices and all and evil thoughts, and monkeys symbolize virtues and good thoughts. As soon as Vibhishan arrived, the monkeys stopped him and questioned, "Who are you?" Vibhishanji said, "Ravan's brother." One monkey said in Sugriv's ear, "Ava Milan Dasanan Bhai, Ravan's brother has come." At that moment, it appeared as if Vibhishan will be stopped. He will not be allowed to go. After all, how can Ravan's brother be trusted? The intention is to say that if this question is asked to the seeker, that since so long you have been in the company of evil, hence how can you be worthy of reaching near God? What result did you get out of the sins committed since so long? This very question has been answered here in detail. The significance of being stopped by the monkeys is that for once virtue is equally obstructing like the sin, though not with the same intensity. The sins that have been committed till date, the mistakes that have been made, what about them? This question comes before the seeker. Sugriv said this only, "Lord, he is Ravan's brother. Hold him captive." The Lord instantly said, in response to Sugriv's advice, that your opinion is right from the viewpoint of policy and dharma, but my vow is this: सन्मुख होई जीव मोहि जबहि, जन्म कोटि अघ नसाहि तबहि. अघ नासहि तबहि. My job is not to keep an account of the mistakes that the Jeev has committed earlier. Whenever he comes in my assembly, then onwards his old account will be closed, and after the closure of that old account, the new account of my shelter will be opened. Shri Hanumanji immediately reminded Vibhishan of the shelter of the Lord, and the being clearly declared, "Lord, I have not come to you with my virtuous deeds or penance. Shravan sujasu suni ayahu, Prabhu bhanjan bhav bhir. त्राहि त्राहि आरती हरण, saran sukhad raghubir." I have heard your glory with my ears, as if his indication was towards Hanumanji, that, "Lord, I was sleeping. Could I have ever come? You sent the saint. He mentioned your attributes and glory and gave your message in my ears, that no matter how many mistakes have been committed by us, no matter how many sins have been committed, you immediately accept the being in your shelter. After getting that message only, I had the courage to come in your shelter. Lord Ram immediately embraced Vibhishan, hearing this declaration. There is meeting of Jeev and Brahma, and as Lord Ram makes it clear that you are the real master of Lanka by establishing the being as Lankesh. You have accepted Ravan's mastership due to misconception. In the end, the being actually becomes the master of Lanka. In this manner, Goswamiji has presented the problems coming in the inner life of the seeker and the way to the solution of those problems through Vibhishan.